Hey, wake up and be amazing. I am Trainer Dane. I am an empowerment coach where I teach coach through mindset, fitness, personal development. And all of my fitness is done as a partner trainer with Camp Gladiator, where our mission is to positively impact the physical fitness and ultimately as many lives as possible. I wanted to come to you today. I just got done a virtual connection, I guess you would call it. And the idea is that we got to connect in different ways, right? So the world has changed. I mean, from in my world, it was okay. I can coach 50 people live, face to face. To oh my gosh, I can only have 10 people. Plus, that's me, so that's 9. How do I get everybody? How do I do it? How do I wake up and learn in a matter of minutes? In a matter of minutes to do Sign Up Genius to get people? How do I take my everyday 60 minutes of amazing and turn it into 30 minutes of amazing so I can accommodate more people? And then by the end of the week, I drove to my primary location in the afternoon and I showed up and the gates were locked and there was no way to get in. So I called my area director, we talked. She said, hey, you got to figure it out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure it out. So with the Sign Up Genius, I had all 9 names and I texted every single one. I posted on Facebook and then I drove home, set up where I'm sitting right now, my virtual office. It has my real office. It's now become my virtual fitness studio. It was in 35 minutes time. I went completely live. So those are just some of the few things, right, that have happened over the last week and then 2 weeks. Hey, if you're joining me live, number one, thank you. If you are coming back and watching the replay, please hit hashtag replay, hashtag live now, okay? So I just shared that story to say what some of the things are going on. I have been blessed over the last year and a half or 2 years to use Zoom on a regular basis. So I connect with my life coaching, my empowerment coaching clients through Zoom so we can see each other face to face. They can do it at lunch, they can do it at work, and we don't have to travel. But what I'm finding is many people, when I say get to Zoom, they have no idea how to do it. They don't know they don't have to download an app. There is an app, but it's not required. Then I'll say, hey, just download the URL. And they're like, what is that? Or even today, as I was trying to teach my wife, he said, hey, let's try to get in there early and have our conversation in our virtual Muscles Mimosas happy hour. Thank you, Thomas. And she went to Google to put in the URL, which will work, but Google's a search engine, not where you typically put in the URL, which is the website. And then we kind of snip at each other a little bit because, you know, your temperatures are a little temperature. Your attitude is a little short, your temper is a little shorter maybe because you're not getting out of the house, you're not experiencing life the way you did before. And that's okay. And then while I was in the virtual happy hour and Tanya was in the kitchen, the virtual happy hour, and I could see she was making breakfast, we had a conversation. And I was like, you know, at the end of the day, what I challenge everybody to do is take a deep breath and begin. Hello, Serena. I'll get your check-in later today. Learn like a child. Think about it. So now you're over 18. Now your whole world is upside down and you're pissed off and it's not fun and it's overwhelming. And now you're an educator and you're a school teacher. You've never been an educator or school teacher before. You've never worked virtually. You've never gotten on your computer, your iPad, your phone or whatever, which is really just a smaller computer. And all these things are coming at you left and right, hot, fast, and furious. But when you were a kid and you didn't even know any better, you went from being held to being on your belly to trying to rock back and forth and falling on your belly and looking like my corgi. And your parents cheered for you and you smiled because it felt good and you continued to try to learn. So you went from being held to crawling to walking to stumbling to having your big head take you to the ground, and we all cheered for you. We didn't say, hey, Jonah, don't ever stand up again. You might fail. We didn't say, Serena, don't ever stand up. You might actually hit your head on the coffee table. What we did was we held your little itty bitty cute little fingers and we coached you and we encouraged you, we supported you, we motivated you to do it again and again and again. But now I'm going to use Zoom as an example, right? And you get on and it doesn't connect, or you're not even sure what the hell a website is or a URL is, or how to join with video or have audio or put it on mute or set up your camera where if you're doing personal training or group training with me or any of the 1,000 trainers across the country with CG. How to set it up where I can see your mat. I can see your full wingspan. I can see you raise your arms overhead, which you can't see where I'm set up now. Then you get pissed off, fed up, and you give up. But what if you fail with grace? Give yourself a little grace. It's just coming fast and furiously, and you don't have to learn it overnight. I didn't learn my craft as a life coach, as an empowerment coach, as a personal trainer in one day. And it was even more overwhelming the first day I walked into, at that time, a middle school campus, and all the coaches had 20 years experience, and they're in the mat room, and they're jumping all over the place, and they're giving commands. My eyes were about that big. And I stood in the back. It's like, man, I hope they don't call on me to lead the drill. And eventually, the head coach came to me afterwards. He goes, I know you want to sit back and learn, but the only way you're going to learn is to get in there and do it. And if you screwed up, you know what? I'll be right there to help you. And because you engage those senses, you learn, you become adaptable. So what do you want to learn? What do you need to learn? And how can you do that? How can you give yourself some grace? How can you find somebody to educate, motivate, and empower you to learn more? Look, if you don't reach out to me, or you don't reach out to somebody you love, or somebody who you believe is an expert, or somebody who's just as screwed up as you are, and you can learn together, there are a million different YouTube videos out there. And if Gary Vee will tell you, if you listen to him, quit telling me you can't do it, spend 10 hours. What are you doing this weekend? Spend that hour you would normally drive to work, half hour there, half hour back, and click a video and watch it and learn. How to do Zoom, make a TikTok video, be the TikTok adult, I don't care. How to start a YouTube channel, how to improve your life. So I decided, Nick sent me a link to get one free stock from Robinhood, and I took advantage of it. I took $50 from my pay yesterday, put it in that bank. I'm going to learn about the investments in the stock market. Whether this is a good time or a bad time, it doesn't matter. What it is, I want to learn something I don't know how to do. I want to make sure I deliver the best value to my Camp Gladiator campers, my future virtual Choose to Move virtual 6-week challenge campers, and my empowerment clients as their empowerment coach, as we work through not only fitness, but mindset and self-development, and giving them the ability to fail with grace as their life has changed. In part of what I do as an empowerment coach, I teach that there are 7 elements of health and wellness. 7 elements, which I title, we learn E squared, IOP squared. What the heck does that mean? So I had a client, which I call champion, a virtual champion, probably 4 years ago now. We actually had gone to high school together, hadn't seen each other at least 30 years. We took a college class at Southwest Texas back in the day, a little hungover, a little bleary-eyed, and showing up at class at 8 o'clock. We were really good friends in high school. She's one of like 9 children. Because I was a military dependent, I don't have very many people that I've known that know my mom, my dad, my sisters, and now my children, and my wife and my stepchildren. They don't know that. But Mary Ellen and I connected. She saw I was in Virginia Beach. She lives in Virginia Beach. We connected. She was asking me about elements of health and wellness. Again, if you're joining me live, hit hashtag live. If you're coming back, hit hashtag replay. That allows me to come back and answer questions. So she said, look, you were military dependent. She worked for USAA for 30 years. It's all about acronyms. So like FBI and NCIS. She goes, what can we do? I said, well, the elements are emotional, environmental, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual health. And at that time, I didn't say them all in order. But now I will always say them in order. So we came up with E squared, IOP squared. Emotional health. What are you doing for your emotional health? So it's okay to cry. But I don't want you to be depressed. I want you to get outside. I want you to see the sun. I want you to feel the elements. So what are you doing for your emotional health? Then your environment, it's completely changed. Now you've got 3 kids at home, right? Now your husband or spouse is at home. Now your roommate is at home. You don't have any space. So your environment has changed. And if you don't decide how to take action, it can become overwhelming. Then the I, intellectual health. What are you doing to think and be fit, and to put content between your ears and surround yourself with virtual people and friends, or a podcast, or a movie, or music? Occupational health. Your job may have changed. Unfortunately, maybe you're out of a job, and I'm sorry if that's the case, but what can you do to earn some more money? So my stepson, who no longer has a job, since the restaurant's been shut down, has made hundreds of dollars now because he's doing yard work and he's been trash disposal, whatever it takes, because he's got a pickup truck. And people still need things done. So he's taken just jumped in, right? Then the P in E squared IOP squared. Hello, Misty. Welcome. It's good to hear from you and see you again. Your physical health. So I want to invite you to join me and have the virtual gym come into your home, your garage, your dining room. There's a 6 weeks challenge that you can join me and not only me, but have access to over 1,000 trainers across the country with over 60,000 workouts available to you, live streamed on Zoom, where we can coach, encourage, support, and build community. If you just sit on that couch and drink your life away, how much better or worse are you going to be when this ends? Because look, it will end. Pain, sorrow, and misery does not last forever. And when it comes to the physical part and an exercise is hard and you're doing bear crawls with weights and it's hot and then you're followed by a group of burpees, it only sucks while you're doing it. Well, this only sucks while we're doing it and it will not last forever. So are you going to put on 30 pounds, which is possible? It's hard. It would also be hard to lose 30 pounds in 6 or 8 weeks. But if you just sit and you eat and drink and become part of that couch, your body only wants to stay at 98.6 degrees at dynamic equilibrium. It will shut your systems down. If you move, if you sweat, if you breathe heavily, if you work your aerobic and anaerobic systems, right? You have 640 muscles, you have 206 bones. How are you going to move them? Your physical health. Then the S, the first S in E squared IOP squared is your social environment. Look, I get it. We like to get together for dinner. We like to sit on the back porch. We like to go to the restaurant and the bar. We like to, and there really is ultimately no substitute, excuse me, for face-to-face connection. But can you get on a FaceTime call? Can you get on a Skype call? Can you get on a Zoom call? I saw a group of people today that got together in their car, stayed there 6 feet away. They went either to Starbucks or they went to a local coffee shop. They got their coffee, they had their orange juice, and they could talk to each other at least this far apart. This far apart. I've seen school teachers get in their cars and make a parade and wave to the kids on the porch and bring joy and hope for the future. My daughter sent me one where in their neighborhood they're asking all the people that have superhero costumes and pickup trucks to have a superhero party in their neighborhood and have Superman and Spider-Man and Batman and Wonder Woman and wave to the kids and what joy that will bring and how can that change their social life. The last S and S squared and E squared IOP squared, which again are emotional, environmental, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual health. And that is spiritual. What are you doing for your heart? What are you doing? It can be God. It doesn't have to be God. But what are you doing to grow spiritually, to feel good about it? I believe, here's the truth. It drives me nuts. I get it that everybody needs to get out the information on the coronavirus. But every time I turn on Facebook, even when I check the weather, it talks about corona. I think it inundates you. And to be honest with you, it'd be easy to be a turtle and put my head in my shell, or be an ostrich and put my head in the sand. So I want to read enough and know enough to make sure my family is safe, my friends are safe, my loved ones are safe, and that you're safe. But I can't think about it, dream about it, do it all day, or I would just cry and be a puddle of goo. So what I want to do, I want to be a light in a dark time. I want to teach you, coach you, encourage you to wake up and be amazing. I want you to learn some Danish positive affirmation where every day is a great day. Take responsibility, embrace the crap, surround yourself with virtual goal-oriented people and know that goal-oriented people find ways. I want you to know today is the most important day of your life. I want you to dream big, dream often out loud. I want you to know that it doesn't matter what you do, that it matters that you do it. I want you to know that you should not ever waste a heartbeat. And I want you to know that you are meant to do hard things every day. And while this is difficult today, you will be better, stronger if you embrace it, you attack it. So if you're Shannon, what you do, who's a swimmer and feels like that's been completely taken away, and now there are displaced swimmers all over, she's built a group of displaced swimmers, and they're cross-training, and they're bringing in experts to just talk about life and have a community because they had a connection that they love to swim. What do you love to do? You can't find a group, make a group, build a group, invite it, start it, be the leader. You need help doing it, let's have a conversation and let's talk. But what I want you to do, and what the title of this is, no matter what you do, I challenge you to learn like a child and fail with grace. I loved sports. I loved athletics, and actually I still do. And I wanted to learn how to hit a baseball, catch a football, shoot a basketball, score a goal in hockey or soccer. You know what I did? I got on my backyard, I got on my front yard, and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And I failed more times than I did. There's a famous quote with Michael Jordan. He said that he missed that winning shot, 1,100 times. But he never shied away from taking the winning shot. So all this is to encourage you, motivate you, and empower you to dream big, dream often, and dream out loud. It's okay if you fall down. The world is for triers. So for example, I'll share another story of my buddy Mike. So I met Mike when I was in tech school, and when you're active duty, or a guard or a reservist too, you go to basic training. Whatever your basic training is and whatever the branch of service. Once you learn the basics of being an airman or soldier, right? You've got to learn a job. You have to be productive other than scrubbing the floor, which is important too. So you go to technical school. You learn your job, right? So I met Mike in tech school. So in the Air Force at that time, basic training was 6 weeks. We training with Mike, but we both went to Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas together. Became friends. We hung out. To be honest with you, when that time came, I'm not sure exactly where Mike went, and I went to Fairbanks, Alaska, and started my life. 20-something years later, with the power of Facebook, Mike and I reconnected. And we have different memories, right? We remember different things. But there were certain things that we connected that we knew were together. We're like, yeah, we did it. We experienced it. But what Mike told me after he retired from the United States Air Force after 26 years, that he had been recycled during basic training, which means he'd failed something in basic training and they sent him back to the beginning. And he did it again. Then he went to tech school to learn his job, and guess what? He got recycled again and had to start back at the beginning. Whether that was 6 weeks, 16 weeks, 18 weeks, 26 weeks, a year, it just depends on what your specialty is and how actually demanding it is to learn the job. And then he celebrated his retirement after 26 years of serving the United States of America in the United States Air Force. So think about it. Mike failed when he was in basic training. He failed when he was at tech school, but he never quit. He failed with grace. He learned like a child, and he knew that the world was for triers. So what are you doing? Where are you going? And how can you get there? I'm coming back. I had a great call, had a great conversation with people, and they're like, hey, you have so much to share, just share it. So I'll be coming back randomly. Most of the time, it won't even be with an event. I'm just going to, if it feels good and I want to share it, I'm going to share it. So if anything I shared today educated, motivated you, and empowered you to take action, do it. Share it. And if anybody you believe in your life could need or needs to be educated, motivation, empowered, and find a sense of positivity to wake up and be amazing, know every day is a great day, please share the video. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Be smart. And share your smile somehow, some way.